People say to me, how much gold and silver should I own in this environment? And I think the proper question to ask instead is, how much dollar exposure do you want? Regardless of how well you're diversified in your portfolio, in various asset classes, it all comes back to just about everything that we have is denominated and valued in dollars, and that is really the Achilles heel, I believe.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, Jim Sinclair, Mr. Gold, is now predicting, because of all these issues we're seeing around the globe, and because the Fed's hands are basically tied and they're going to keep interest rates historically low for another at least 2 years, he's predicting gold to go above $10,000 and the dollar losing at least half its value from here, Andy. So you're right. It's the dollar exposure that people need to be concerned about.
And not only that, Jim Sinclair says that gold will never come back down once it reaches these levels, that it's all in the cards, and that the people pulling the strings realize that the dollar's days are numbered. You know, they may appear to be idiotic, but I'm sure they're smart enough to realize that, you know, there's only so much you can squeeze out of the dollar before it becomes worthless. And at that point, they will tie some new world reserve currency to a gold backing. Now, I know you often give interviews to Bix Weir, and I strongly urge people to go and read Bix's comments on the new $100 bill. The new $100 bill, which has been made but hasn't been issued, was supposed to come out earlier this year. The whole right-hand side of it is gold. Now, I think Bix would tell you that ultimately he believes that is going to be part of the new world reserve currency with a gold backing. Maybe they're waiting to issue the new $100 bills until there's no more interest in the dollar as the world reserve currency, and we'll throw up our hands and say, fine, here's our new gold-backed dollar to retain our world reserve status. And that's why Sinclair says when it reaches these numbers, it won't ever come back down, because it'll be tied now to some sort of new world reserve currency. Because quite frankly, I think that's what this is all about. People worldwide, and especially the very smart, wealthy elite, are realizing that this is already inevitable and doing what they can to protect themselves from a plunging dollar. So I think that 10,000, as crazy as it sounds, to me, it really doesn't sound that crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, these things can explode and go way past what people would ever, believe is possible.
Yes, I think those numbers, as lofty as they sound, are, to me, very plausible, and no more outrageous than when Sinclair was saying gold would hit 1,600 when it was 300. So, yeah, I think if you're going to emulate anyone, if you're going to follow anyone, it certainly isn't Nick Guarino. Jim Sinclair has as good of a track record as anyone out there, or guys like Jim Dines who say silver is going to hit 300. These are numbers that, to me, when you look at the money supply, when you look at the problems, when you look at the global divestiture of dollars happening, the likelihood of these numbers being reached become greater and greater.
My tactic has always been to tell people to dollar cost average. Buy more on a bi-weekly basis, a monthly basis. Whenever you've got the spare change in your pocket, buy more, regardless of what the price is doing. Because the long-term story isn't going to change, is it?
No, in fact, you look around, there are so few alternatives where to put your money. There isn't a clear-cut place to put it. Real estate or interest-bearing or securities all seem dead in the water. And I think markets in general move from undervaluation to overvaluation. And there will probably be a time to sell your gold and silver. I don't know when that will be, but I think at that point, perhaps it'll be blue chip stocks selling at single-digit price-to-earnings ratios, paying a fat 6 or 7% dividend, or maybe it's that real estate property on the lake that you've wanted that's now selling at pennies on the dollar. When some other asset class becomes completely undervalued and a good place to park your money, that will be the time to make the switch. And the traditional forms of safe haven assets, namely dollar-based investments in treasuries, are right now anything but safe. I think currencies in general right now are a very, very risky place to park your money and offer very little in the way of long-term safety.
Andy, before we let you go, what kind of action are we seeing in the precious metals? What products are you selling the most of right now?
Probably junk silver. And I think junk silver, although given a bad rap for its name, is the best buy across the board. We do have a huge supply of junk silver right now. And I think if you're looking for real value, that is where it's at for the following reasons. Number one, it's the least expensive way to accumulate silver. Right now, we're able to secure it for, depending upon quantity, anywhere from, 25 to 50 cents an ounce over melt value. And number two, in 2008, when everything disappeared, all of the products disappeared. I'm sure you remember we had a major correction in gold and silver. Silver dropped by about 50% and gold about 35 or 40. Every major mint in the world was shut down, from U.S., Canadian, South African, Austrian, Australian. If they weren't shut down, they were 16 weeks back ordered. And every major refinery in this country was shut down. When that happened and everything disappeared, premiums on junk silver bags were approaching $5 an ounce. Today, they're under 50 cents. So my point to you is that it's an unusual time where not only can you buy the least expensive form of silver that is widely accepted and widely recognized, but I think it also offers you, perhaps, the best upside potential in terms of premium. Because if silver really does go as high as guys like Jim Dines says it will, and Jim Sinclair,
and James Turk at 400,
then it doesn't matter what you have as much as how much you have within reason. Now, you don't want to go out and buy a 1,000-ounce bar because they lack a tremendous amount of liquidity. But having the bags of junk silver, which are liquid, sought after, and recognized, with super low premiums right now, is exciting to me because I see all premiums rising and all premiums kind of leveling out. It'll be, what do you have, what can I get, more than what picture is on the coin.
Well, Andy, for people who want to do business with you, how do they do that?
We don't do things online. I know a lot of people would like us to. We still do things the old-fashioned way. You give us a call. We lock things in on a verbal handshake. And I make the same offer that I'll always make to your listeners. You call and mention the SGT report, and you will receive a free Silver Eagle on your first purchase of at least $500. On a $500 purchase and a free Silver Eagle, we're going backwards, but we'd rather do business with good people and get a client, even if we don't make any money. So just mention that you heard this here, and you'll receive a free Silver Eagle on your first purchase of $500 or more. Or give me a call personally anytime. I'm happy to hear from any of your listeners, Sean. My direct dial is 1-800-255-1129. You can sign up for our free daily newsletter at milesfranklin.com. On the top of the page, on the right-hand side, free daily newsletter. It's usually about 20 pages, and we put an awful lot of work into it. Sign up, check us out, see what we're all about. We maintain an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We want to earn your listeners' business, and all they got to do is mention that they heard us on the SGT report, and they'll get special treatment.
Well, Andy Schectman, president of Miles Franklin Precious Metals, thanks so much for your time.
Sean, it's always a real pleasure. Keep up the great work, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Andy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it, and thanks for watching, friends. And be sure to check us out on Facebook. My good friend Stefan took the time to get SGT Report up and running on Facebook in order to make it easy to share all the news and information about gold and silver with your friends. Thanks, guys. Good night.